Okay, ready?
Sanji Judong Toji Shunam Nama Shangju Badon Dani Jalsoji Daye Jinso Jebe Sonam Ji Rola Benji Sanji Indru Shu Sanji Judong Toji Shunam Nama Shangju Badon Daye Jinso Jebe Sonam Ji Rola Benji Sanji Indru Shu Sanji Judong Toji Shunam Nama Shangju Badon Dani Jalsoji 아예 진소 예배 선놈지 돌아 벤지 상지 두버 Okay, in English. Doesn't.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll go through revision to number 19 to the Buddhist, the Dharma, and the highest assembly by merit of all by attaining the state of enlightenment for the welfare of all sentient beings.
Okay. Thank you. 본인이 주소도 주만 제스는 문제는 몇 장나가 문제 되죠. 소원도 현재는 저런저 송라고 한다. 내가 좀 터버를 좀. 自由具备他变之后也甚至新年缺他查这 OK当然上 시기들이 연구했다면 let's look back at the portion number 41 동의 이민 대화다 지번 넘버 나초다 대화 넘던 자반이 디버줄을 중 Kelsey, can you read the 41, please?
Physical pain, mental unhappiness, all the various kinds of fear, as well as separation from what is desired, all arise from an unwholesome way of life.
지기 민대베기 동에 안디 주메 게메를 마중화 유여바 겐 체벌 때문에 중화연바디 네버도 삼로 거버지 고기도와 니 하고네 삼로 부수도 많이 붙여 사실이야 이 삼로도 안 부수도 쓰죠 봐 이제 부수도 고야 얘기지 말제 니직 세부지 하고서나 아니 되게 싸워도 다 가는 이유도 시도선배 앤셈 모티브를 되는 이유도 시도에 시도 아니 되죠 디번 남면 나서도 정말로 민교가 되는 좋아 민교와디 가를 되는 좋을 수도 레일 되는 좋아 레일이 가를 되는 좋을 수도 녀모가 되는 좋아 녀모와디 가을 되는 좋을 수도 아니 셈마도 당진들 되는 좋아 아니 뒤에 좀 당진들 돼서 혀를 당 거야 당진들만 용을 당 거야 당진이 자원님의 어깨가 쇠토가지 어때 내를 취해서와 어디 들랍지 들으셨다 쉬우시지 버티
So basically this advice has been given in just recapping verse number 41. The advice it's been given here is sort of, as if we look at it in an overall way, is how to sort of, what is it expressing to us is that all of these things such as suffering, unhappiness, fear, all these kind of things come that they arise based on the meeting of certain causes and conditions. So there's that we so they don't arise without their own particular causes and conditions, and it's explaining to us that the although we don't wish for suffering, the way in which suffering arises is through this process based on its own causes and conditions. So there's no need for us to get upset when these kind of things arise, because if we clearly understand this way in which they don't arise causelessly, but they do arise based on their own particular causes and conditions, then and we also then have to, and then also clearly understanding the process through which they arise, that these sufferings, these unwanted things, these fears, sufferings, unwanted unhappiness arise through a chain of events. And so they arise based on our previous karma. That previous karma is laid down through the kind of through us through the mental afflictions that arise in us, and then those mental afflictions are rooted in self-grasping. And so there's no, in the sense that, so if we understand this kind of link, then more the links between this kind of causal process, then if we see that self-grasping is the root of all that, then we would try to reduce, and initially to reduce, but eventually to try and uproot, completely take out from the root this self-grasping. And so that's what is being explained to us here in verse number 41.
the samjabdi issue what and the Tandarabji, Digotarabji Sati, Siji to Shibushin Yubati. Yila Sambi Gichibi said, Ya, and Bangsim Yukune Lang de Setadico, Samjade Shuto. Bangsim, the water man, Doni, Shenji, number Jom said, Bangsim Yukune Lang de Tondo. Oh, the Tadi Samjadova.
Yeah.
The Samjadi Oshuta, Tambunian Lady. The dig so much here on the temple, Bangsam the level, yours, Bangsam to do some better, point somewhere. The dig in Yoma body, and it never just soon, so much on Chimaron, never, somebody tembuchi letuna. And it shouldn't do them enough, than that, Virginia should ship you, have just a CJ, ship you senior, but ship you somebody. I've got that.
So, to sort of join up that kind of more general explanation, and then in verse 41, in Gyaltsab Je's commentary to verse 42, the first lines of the commentary of Gyaltsab Je say that we to sorry, here we are, 42, 43. Yeah, so it says basically that taking up as a kind of motivational. Taking up as a kind of motivation the wish to abandon these things. So what it would mean in that context is the wish to abandon, for instance, the mental afflictions, to remove and abandon the mental afflictions. So so we have to have so when we talk about, in Tibetan says bangsam, to the mind which wishes to abandon those things, then we have to sort of that has a feeling where if the mental afflictions are, it's really not okay if the mental afflictions arise in any way. It's not okay at all, and therefore the wish to completely remove them. So this that line that is mentioned in Gyaltsab Je connects us to the the unwanted sufferings and the fears, etc. Separated from our desires, which is mentioned in verse number 41. So it's a very good way in which Gyaltsab Je joins those two things.
It is necessary for practitioners to understand on this kind of order, in this kind of order, because including myself, many so-called practitioners face time to time a lot of problem of when we do our kind of practice, like doing accumulating lots of merit, then we do so many kind of things in it day-to-day life. We do many practices, but then there's no joy. Beginning in the morning, you feel like I have to do it. Then with this kind of motivation, there's no joy at all, because it looks like it's not your choice. It is you already kind of put that I have to in here in the center somewhere. Then the rest of the day you feel like it is if I don't do it, then I break samaya and I breaking my commitments and so on. And then you're doing as you're not liking what you do. So that's sometimes unhealthy. So like this here practice, before saying during the practice, Shantideva gives you a kind of a sort of samjar
A
to
way to join up
to how to join the motivations. So saying having the wish to abandon the strong motivation, having to realizing how these negative emotions are really polluting our bringing the suffering, and having this kind of picture image, then you feel like I need to abandon that. So in order to do this, I need to do this practice. So then it becomes a very good medicine. It's like it is one person go to a hospital saying his friend told him that medicine is very good, you should take it. So he is doing this. Then his friend has one different reason why he took it. But he is taking this medicine because he believed his friend only. But the danger is he does not have a strong trust to his friend. And then he did that, and then he might not like it for maybe doing maybe a week or for 3-4 days, then he might say it is not working. So it is necessary. Going to the hospital means taking the medicine means that you need to recognize that you have this disease in you. And then that is the right antidote for you. Then from going from here to the hospital, you are going there with the necessary that without this I'm done. With this, it will give this our greatest hope. And it's so healthy. So like that, here in the commentary, the both commentary here by Geshe Rinpoche and also to the Shantideva put this the joining together the person samjal joining survey.
Well, there's a need that subject of putting them to making the link together.
They're putting the link together. So saying that having this understanding, then this is good.
Drawing the connection between the two.
Joining the connection.
Drawing the connection.
Drawing the connection. Okay. Okay, now get to read 42 and 43.
However, by committing wholesome actions, which are motivated by aspiration in the mind, wherever I go, I shall be presented with tokens of the fruit of the merit. Yet by committing negative actions, although I may wish for happiness, wherever I go, I shall be completely overcome by weapons of pain caused by the wrongful life.
Yila sambe gechebes kandan kantun rojoba tedante sunam ti dibu yungi munchiju. Diba cheban den de yang kandan kantun rojoba tedante ne diba ti dungin sungi namba chom. Adi tiyadam samintirani disishwa. To the tree tawati. Shibishini 42. Shibdi chopke. Shibdi chopke. Shibdi chopke for the little Indian one to be cheap near from Shibadil. Odalwa. Da yila sambam yi membe gone gewachavas. Tanda yila sambe gechebes. Da yila sambe gechebes. Dedi kunung son robijil sambatane. Kunelang sechitwa. Kunung karisili kunung nentir. Dipo yil tanda shibishiji di kunung. Di shibishiji di kunung da chane. Ani sambe gechebe Kanda Kando Rojoba Tedantini Sunamti Jibu Yunji Munchechus. Di Pado Tanda Didwa, Mobar Chibit, Deva Yamsunyo, Duru Sepado, Deva Jaswa. Tadi word la Yam Mixijur. Yila Sampe Shevani, Deva la Mumbe, Namdo Yana Asichu. Tadi in the Shining Jumuyor. Didwa. Yila Yila Samba Shivani, Deva la Mumbe, Namdo Yana. Sidu Sambe, Anning Aranzo. Duyungala Panjashana degree. Duyungala ya Anipa number was to Deva. Number Deva this Ani di Shingda Seata. Shinda Ani Yidi Kesi Sidu Sambe Diritaka Sore Aranzubita Samblon Amalia. Gesi di del sha. Ani Shingda do shana, Shingda di Gevis Gesi di gan dos pandroeci. Samdangrwa.
Kati,
Sambetone Pigel Roeci. Sambetone Pigel Rosidu Zambe Manzo Kawala Le Malaysia di Maranzu Kulung del Dene Legua. Benang Dine Zulakan Luis Lavache. Wa Dine Zulakan Drose di Samlona Nian Jixu. Ane Tilia Juya Chawad Sewa. Odina Shinchiji, Yila Sambe Shebetumbe, Yila Sambe Shebedi, Debala member Namdo in us. Debala member Sidu Debala member, Debala Deba. Deba Sidu Zodi, Dengala, Debati in us. Ta Namdo Shingda Gisijewa Jigdena Trabadi in Sonlas. Reve serva Shingda Shaban Tadandraw, Yambo, Star Reve Shingda said it. Shingda said Ravad the Shinda Pechas. Dilla de Rubin said Shingda is the quadrate. O di ko Namjuchindu this Tambina. Tanga, any give it our Yabu show or some sugar. Kulun Kazu shoot chair of some Tambin until Andrea Calimedich. O di late to your. Tikonyang to the Pejan she will back. Jazan Yila Sambe Gechebe, Sidu Sambe, Margi, Kulung is Shucher Tamba in Naya. Benedict you demo the level gabla, demo the level gabla. Those demotaga demos leisures of draw down. Trailer da teaser the demand teche somebody leon do could die shoot cherry. Joko could deba the shooter. The deba in the way came the way in the chine go. Just on deba shoot share down which somebody says on Drondu somebody. Oh, dig it, Chesanga Yila San Kechebe said that moment be to shady. The Chicligua, Odin and Gachmur. Tedantini, Sonam Tista, and Sonam Senedi, Mazumasone, Droyagi, Duchinit. Sonam said, somewhat take it, Simshu Paria, they do Sonamchi. Sonamgi Captain Silva, I'm checking the Lagua, Sonamgi Captain Chini, Gunelang, Sonam Sa, Sonam Tigi Captain Cheval, and to stop research. Sonam teas. Any Gavachable in Sonam Yungurba, Sonam Telateni, any GB Yunji, Munchi City, game this one.
This is the Tamadi, this
GB Yunji, Munchi.
Yeah.
On the Chevas to do more Kiberchip. More Kiberchip.
Right. Okay, so what I'm doing here is what I'll do here is break down this verse a little bit into more detail using Tudun Shigin Drapa's commentary. And here is kind of the first lines of verse 42, where it talks about how it says, however, by committing wholesome actions, which are motivated by aspiration in the mind. So in the Tibetan, wherever I go, I shall be presented with the tokens of the merit of that fruit, is the verse 42. Okay, so how Stephen Basher has translated this in the root text is, which are motivated by aspiration in the mind. And so this is talking about motivation, and in Thupten Chögyal Drapa's commentary, what they do is join up, sort of make a link between verse 41, verse 42, and 43, which are together, verse 42 and 43 together. Verse 41 is giving us the motivation behind this, so the motivation to understand where all of the sufferings and unhappiness come from, and then the wish to obviously is sort of motivated to avoid that. And then in Thupten Chögyal Drapa's commentary, what he's talking about here is when he says, which are motivated by the aspiration in the mind to commit wholesome actions. What the commentary in Thupten Chögyal Drapa's commentary says is to take to mind, or to have kind of aspiration towards, or desire for, is a word which is used in Tibetan as mumba, but it can be described as a sort of inclination towards or desire for something. Then if we engage in virtuous actions, and then engage in virtue and accumulate a positive merit based on that virtue, then from whichever place we were born in, and going from place to place, birthplace to birthplace, then that's that merit, the virtuous merit that we've accumulated, will become the qualities of the ripening result of happiness for pleasant things and happiness for us. But also what he does in the commentary is this sort of taking to mind, or Stephen Butcher has translated as motivated by aspiration in the mind. So that is used in Thupten Chögyal Drapa's commentary in a kind of, he uses a very poetic image. So this idea of taking something to mind, or the kind of wish to engage in something, paying attention and interest to something, this kind of conceptual mind that does that is used as an example with the chariot, and how the chariot, the driver of the chariot, the intention behind the driver of the chariot will drive the chariot wherever it goes. And also yeah, the driver of the gesis는 because
그게 좀 개사선으로 배치한다고 CD선으로
아래요. So yeah, so the driver, the chariot, because of driving the gesi, the city drops.
게시스를 잡에 개부기 개부 사자치를 사자샤 될 제를 로고유나 되게
Yeah, so I think it's probably quite a famous example in kind of Indian tradition, but I don't know. So the person who's driving the chariot and wishes to reach the kind of the main city of the kingdom, there's the strength of their sort of desire or wish to drive the chariot to that place is what drives it forward. And in the same, so this is a kind of poetic image used from kind of classical Indian literature, and so in the same way, our hope or our desires or our kind of inclinations is maybe a better way to put it, and especially those inclinations to engage in virtuous actions, the greater they are, that determines how far, how strong and how intensely we engage with these practices. And simple example of this is when there's a new movie which comes out, and our wish or desire to go and see that. Let's say we have a certain amount of wish or desire to go and see that movie, but also if there are kind of these by watching the kind of teasers or trailers for the movie, then our interest, our desire, and our inclination to actually go and to engage in going to see the movie are greatly increased. So, and also here, when it's using this kind of word of desire or wish, that doesn't necessarily have to have the connotation of attachment to something. It can mean just purely the kind of wish or hope or inclination to engage in something. And as much as our, in a general sense, as much as our inclination or wish to engage, the stronger the wish to engage or to do something is, the further that we can go with that. So, and also in the last, in the third, which will be in the fourth line of the English translation, it says the tokens of the fruit of that merit. So the merit is something which we often use this word, supporting or supporting merit for doing practices, so that we engage in a practice, and merit helps to support us to when we take up an activity, a virtuous activity, then it's the merit which helps us to kind of sustain us and push us through and continue on. So so verses 42 and 43 are sort of talking about how this creating this the motivation from verse 41, and then the kind of intention or desire to wish to engage in them. And the stronger that is, the greater our engagement in virtue to counteract the causes of that and the negative causes of the suffering.
Yeah. So here, why this chariot and the diver and the city, all this becomes important, because in our experience, the more stronger your motivation, your wishes, then on the way, there will be lots of obstacles.
Okay.
If your wish and the motivation is very fixed on that, how strongly you're fixed, less complaint you will have, and the less problem you will see. Even the problem you might say, oh, lots and lots of problem, you won't mind this. That's the gift. So here, I think this is the point where it says that even though that you are, you haven't started yet, because it's like a in your mind. It's not there yet, but more you have a wish and you have a plan in here, and you're so fixed and you're so committed to what you plan for, and that more you joy with your kind of the plan you have, then it's much easier on the path. So I don't know if this example works or not. Many people like to have a tattoo on their body, but then they never say, I had a very hard time. Oh, it's so painful, don't never get it. They never say it. Somehow they don't care about the pain. They were like the more show off, like, see, this is so good. Well, next time I will get better than you. So that's how it works. So this, I think it's the more, I'm not saying go and get the tattoo. Don't get me wrong. So what I'm trying to say this is, the more you like the motivation of yours, the more you enjoy your motivation, and then you will have a less problem on the way. So maybe you will find a better example, not the tattoo one. Okay. Teacher, now the 43, cheba de doja kondon jojoba tedang tenen dibati dunye tsugi number john. But that that's very true actually. Can you read that again? The 43.
Yet by committing negative actions, although I may wish for happiness, wherever I go, I shall be completely overcome by weapons of pain caused by my wrongful life.
So now you, when you read this, you can I'm sure you got the clear picture. But the most confusing thing is we do many wrong, mistaken things because it gives you kind of for you a pleasure, or maybe it gives you a kind of support. So the first one is like attachment. The second one is like aversion, anger. There is nobody in the world, in this world, who likes anger. That's so good. But people, whenever we ask the people who have, all of us has an anger issue. So why this anger? Then you feel like we feel like it's like a protection. So that's why I put support. Why all this attachment and then aversion and confusion? Why all there? Why that's with us? Because we feel like this is necessary. It needs to be there. And then somehow, like an attachment, it brings you a pleasure for sure. But then the wrong thing is our expectation of attachment, that we want it to last long in the attachment, but it does not. Then it's the suffering. High expectation, and maybe no satisfaction, and also then not everlasting. All this is the kind of downfalls of the attachment. And the anger, you feel like it's a protection, but it destroys your friendship forever. Even you don't want to see the shadow of your so-called your friends one time, and you don't want to even seeing his shoes in the front of somebody's place, it gives you strong throw up feeling. So all this thing, it comes as it's necessary in your life. One, for an attachment, we feel like necessary to in order to have a pleasure. Attachment as to support as a protection, the aversion. So, and then the question is, within having you feel necessary, if it is really necessary, then it should work as what you have planned. If it is not working as you plan, then you should really say it's a bad planning. Something is wrong there. So then we don't need in here. It done where somewhere in I think 45. It talks about hell, realm, and everything. You don't need to go so far in there, even it exists. But we don't need to go very far. But this is our, I call. This is the real kind of creating a hell. Still we are alive. This is the real hell. So all this in this world, this bad politics, dirty politics, and all this wars. All this thing is somehow we are using this in order to gain something, but you don't know how much you destroy. Maybe 100 times more, and you get this kind of pleasure. So Shantideva's debate is he's holding the position, saying all this planning, what we planned, somehow we planned and hope for good, but the result came out bad. So what does that mean to you? So that's a very good debate. Dikpa chepan den duen jang kang dong ro dikpa di dunge sui number jong it destroy your peace. That's the answer. Because it's why? Because this is bad planning. Because you so-called your happiness or protection, you call it, but it destroys your happiness. So what do you say? It's good, isn't it? Okay. So now let's go to the 44. So why we accumulating having so much merit? Then what are how can we use this? This is a very good report. Jachi Tisan Siwe Peme Ningburne, Geve Suni Seji Siji Gecheba, Tubu Gi Pema Lejung, Lu Chochen, Geve Dune Deshe Sesu, Geve Gurus, 44 please.
As a result of virtue, I shall dwell in the spacious, fragrant, and cool heart of a lotus flower. My radiance will be nourished by the food of the conqueror's sweet speech. My glorious form will spring from a lotus unfolded by the mighty one's light. And as a bodhisattva, I shall abide in the presence of the conquerors.
Sounds good, isn't it? Yes. So here, many people wanted to go to Pure Land. And then sometimes they don't know what is pure and what is not pure. And they wanted to somehow maybe with this delusion, diluted mind, polluted mind, then you go to Pure Land, you make Pure Land dirty. We already polluted our world in here, and now we are going to the next world to make it polluted again. So it is a good way here how Shantideva describes a kind of Pure Land here. So let's hear. Okay, the Shiva to the Church Tapa 44 419, page 419. Yeah. Sa kini cheba jing nye ne do jing sa chima le nye tu yu cawa le cheba lu yang xin dang ja cheba yi du wong bi tisi zhong ji de wa ji de si wei di wa bi mi ni bo ka wa jing ju de wa ne xin so wei che bo mi zang wa si ji wa okay no same thing. So now we have to see the differences between our the place we are born, what is wrong, yeah, and then having a rebirth in a Pure Land, what are the differences? What does the Gene Jachi mean? How it is
translates it in the commentary of Geshe Dhamma Rinchen. It's the commentary to the verse 44. He says, thus having meditated on virtuous dharmas, the children of the conquerors take rebirth in the great land of bliss. Great land of bliss.
Oh, great land.
Great land of bliss. That's what he's translated it as. So the place of birth, Guinea, a vast place of
Guinea Gachewa. Guinea means that a kind of land. Okay. Gachewa is bliss.
It's vast, but he's translated it as a land of great bliss, but maybe that's a it doesn't say it in the heading.
So now
Guinea
Kebar Nienen Doji Timalobe Tawali Kebadu Juway Yangshin Gachewa.
Yeah,
It what?
I think it's just a sort of vast and open kind of land, a sort of very comfortably kind of open, vast kind of landscape.
Our place where we are kind of manufactured in our mother's womb. It is looks very
Yeah,
it's so
it's confined and kind of constricting and confined. It's almost feel difficult to breathe in it.
I don't know, you have to breathe by your own or your mother's breathing, you have to help with that. But if you look at mother's womb, how the children stays in there, it looks like so skewed and not comfortable. Even you have a small room in the His Holiness Dalai Lama's teaching crowded, you go like this, and then you feel like, oh, but you stayed in like this in your mother's womb for 9 months. No, the good thing is you forget to complain about that. So here it is saying it's not like how it's
kind of vast and open,
vast
you know,
and
it's
open.
not confined or constricted in any way.
And
Spacious.
it is not only about we are saying there is more freedom there as a result, and then your mother's womb is so small, you have to squeeze in, not like that. But due to the how the body and then mind and the brain is, while having the 9 month in the period of that time, somehow there is a kind of a stain. That stain that really remains with you, that it's difficult for us to develop our wisdom, especially wisdom. We are here talking about the what they call Dengzingi Timada TV
So we're talking about the things which provide the obstruction or obstacle towards the wisdom which is able to remove the stains and the influence and the stains which are laid down by the self-grasping. So that particular thing which is obstructing us in being able to develop the wisdom which acts as the antidote to the stains and to self-grasping and the stains which accrue from the self-grasping. That's wisdom perhaps prevented from
Kene hai kene dual debatan hawa duwa dewa chen de gebe kabla dendri ki tima da tima meba tima da tewe ani yachawa sechi tada dedwa.
So for instance, being born in taking as one's birthplace a place such as in the god realms or in the Satutishita heaven and places like this, Dewachen, those places are said to be free of the stains, which would be the obstacle to developing these kinds of wisdom. So there are particular places like that don't have those stains.
And no stinky feet. Just kidding. In human realm, only this stinky feet is enough to rule. Okay. Yeah, 지상보다. 다디 제장가 진행가 되들이 제장가 대화진도 깨벽가블이야. 깨내 상보세디 가war다 그래. 아주 단다 깨내디 밀류디 깨와 상보래디. 깨와랜단디 녀기 녀부나 거야. 아니 고견 가리용고 요매. 아니 아란주기 지기 류기 내당을 통행하죠. 연견식한 거지 봐. 대조 아니 이게 대화진 비올렌트 나로라 대단 디오마를 세도 랑신기 아니 어디 제외나 최제 고급 디야요. 최제 고급 디하도 세 상록지 코비나 신의 아니 대화진의 로고에 좀젠디 그게 레바다 남산 동해요 말이세 계절 말에 그게 레바다 동해디 매장 최제를 튼진 수제도 세 상록고를 들도 와
두니아 매베 인상
어디
최제
고급이야.
네.
튼진이야.
So thinking about why these other places of birth, such as the God realms or the pure lands, such as the Tashita Dewachen, these kind of pure lands, what would be the advantage of being born into those kind of places as opposed to and what would be the faults or the disadvantages of being perhaps born just as a regular human being, because it is said that the regular human being's rebirth is an excellent rebirth. So what would be the distinct advantage that would come from these kind of other kinds of place? And you definitely would not be correct to say that the fact that there's much less manifest suffering in those kind of places of rebirth would not be enough in itself. But perhaps the reason that could be given is that because they lack, it would always have to be the correct way to think about this in terms of wishing to be reborn in one of those places would be that you are able, it would be with the motivation to practice the Dharma, and therefore that because there was less manifest suffering, it would be easier to get on with our Dharma practice, so to speak. So that would be the sort of kind of like a motivation. Or what is the advantage of being born into one of those places over being born in a precious human rebirth as a human? As a
제정가 다 되나를 빼나 초회 개발치도와 시리 주고 나올. 제정가 초회기 개발이 미상위 세계기 백인기사 서취 소알의 개발도 되고 와면을 소비 기회 송양 님부 양아 주주도 되는데 레버 때문에 담배 취 이 대화집에 로초던 때문에 셰시지 류지 신당당 지바 개발체바스
지바
디렉터 CG 세대로
CG
시도 바자기 하고 바자를 개발체
알레 CG 바체
다티 담당보다 배낭 란주기 다 단도 초회 개발이 가르쳤을 초월세도 미장률도 초월체 미장률도 초월체 미장률도 봐 아주 류디 미장률인데 다 말을 캐네요 봐 다 미장률도 초월체단데 아니 제장가 당하는 주기 세를 때는 초월치고 요봐 되는 거 같다 세지 기베사 다 세지 기베 백인기 추 초월 개발도 주고 서주기 초월에 개발도 주고 당하는 주기 세를 소바도 세체 아니 알아서 수고 나로를 빼나지 칼라 처마처를 소바다 아니 하와도야 세 사야디야 미장위 류디 아니 개발체바 Jaguar Cheba, and Siji the number share, teachers about what
Yeah.
did you share?
So one of the way that it talks about this verse is in terms of, first of all, what we just mentioned was the kind of specific advantage of where you're born, place where you're born, or the birthplace, the birthplace you take. But then there's also this the next sort of criteria, which is to say that these places are the best places to be born, is to do with the kind of what sustains the life in that place, what sustains the livelihood or life in the place where you're born. And here in Tujinjugi Trapa's commentary on the 44, verse 44, it talks about this where in these sort of in this sort of almost pure land that is being described in verse 44, there all of the sort of things that sustain us, such as food and things, and the kind of physical processes of our body, and this is usually sort of based on kind of impure things, which are so impure things which help us to sustain impure food, and we talk about this body as being as the human body as being an impure body. So this is something we already kind of accept, but the things which sustain that and help that body to develop, to kind of increase in its strength and kind of sort of power, and these the things that sustain us in this particular kind of, in a human kind of body, are impure, so kind of impure substances. And in Chanti Losan, in a translate chain, the Upamedi Sopatinsuki translate chain. Yeah, so but in the sort of this for instance, in Amitabha's pure land, where the things that sustain, the things which are the kind of food, etc., that sustains the body and creates the kind of, the word is literally siji, the glory or the luster of the body, is in the Pure Lands, it's the teachings or the speech of the conquerors, the beautiful and the delightful and kind of because of very easy, beautiful to listen to speech of the 60 which is called which has the 60 branches, which contains 60 branches. So those teachings of the sublime Dharma, which create mental, which immediately this kind of supreme taste, which this kind of sustenance, which has a supreme taste, this creates kind of mental happiness. Mental happiness is the taste of mental happiness within us, which sustains the glory and develops the body in those environments and sustains their glory. So there you can so we need to sort of see the difference between these two ways: the one with the impure body of the human being sustained by impure substances, and then the sustained by the kind of teachings of the beautiful teachings of the sublime Dharma in the Pure Lands.
Yeah. So do you feel something really interesting, or sounds like a fairy tale? A little bit of fairy tale, isn't it? But keep in our mind that this is how we used to eat, and how the people in the Pure Land how and why they eat. That's the big differences here. So the good thing is we can change. We don't need to go to the Pure Land to eat the way of changing this diet or eating style. We can start from here. And this is really good. So what does that mean is now if you can translate this Nagarjuna's way of advice on us how to eat the food, saying that eat the food as a medicine. This is good, especially people who gain lots of weight, like me. And because eat the food as a medicine, as a medicine word, not eating the because in welcome back. Okay. Okay. Can you hear me?
Yeah, but they missed. They might have missed a little bit of that. Yeah.
Frozen. Yes. Okay. Are you with me now?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Because before you back in Tibet, when we are so poor, and if you are a little bit fat, then a good reason is, oh, you look so healthy. Now it's changed. Now it's completely changed. Now you become fat or gained a lot of weight, then you are unhealthy now, right? That's a big change. So both are right, actually. Before, when very less to eat and become fat, it's a good reason. Whether no differences whether you eat healthy or not. You have lots of things to eat. Good. Now it's completely changed the world, and then now the healthy eating. So now the Nagarjuna didn't change his way of thinking. We changed. So Nagarjuna's way of is, I'm not eating this to become fat or being staying very healthy. Oh, to have a beautiful skin, glorious skin, glowing skin. I wanted to eat this food so that I can fulfill my practices. That's the reason. Similarly, this prayer, the person who is have done in this life, and now people who are reborn in the Pure Land, it's continuing there. They're eating because they wanted to survive, and then with the food, the blessed food, which they eat in order to have a much better, not of the physical body to look good, because they are already looking good. There's not like a or you are not good looking in the Pure Land, so pure. So there it's more like, in order to receive the teaching from Amitabha, the Buddha, and then they eat this nectar to gain more kind of yigi dewa chebarchi. Yigi dewa chebarchi.
So a very specific, very special kind of mental bliss or happiness.
Oh, so that
Mental
bliss
bliss,
helps
yes.
you to bring the wisdom stronger. That's the way of it. So this is what it's saying. Then to be ready, so then having this, and then you will have a special opportunity to meet your own karmic related, or in the past you have special taking a picture with Dalai Lama, full-time quality time with the Buddha to receive this and that teaching. Oh, that is the reason why to go to Pure Land. Not to go there and like in a 5-star hotel. So this, I think, now once you maybe forget many things, after, it's a human brain how it works. You listen for 1 hour, then after you have some information left, then maybe after 20-30 minutes you have like not much left, and then after maybe 1 day, then only maybe few topics or what he said, only keywords, no, only the key, 1 key or 2 keys will be there. So keep this in your mind. Whenever you hear about Pure Land, you know what Shantideva thinks about Pure Land. Don't just go rush everywhere to find a Pure Land, and then you might end up something very, very funny Pure Lands. So this is how to look for the map, and why you want to go to Pure Land, how is the Pure Land, and what to do in the Pure Land, and what is the difference between our realm and the Pure Land. So we needed to answer that to ourselves. This is very good. Okay, so yes.
He is asking something.
Oh yes, okay. I need to switch to Italian. Oh, okay, Tiela, go on. Oh, you can sue my telephone company. Just kidding. So this special prayer, if people are interested, it's in the it's in the text, Dakajuna's text, a letter to a friend.
Put it in there.
Okay, so we will put that in a group. We will put that in a group. Okay, now they froze. Okay.
They froze, yeah.
They froze.
Yeah.
Raining here, snowing here, they froze. Okay. Okay, okay. Okay. So who will do the dedication?
Sure.
Yeah, go ahead.
Having thoroughly investigated in accordance with all that I've heard day and night through the four reasonings, mind-born of reflection on these topics of contemplation, may this discernment sever all doubts. In the land encircled by snow mountains, you are the source of all happiness and good. All powerful Chandras intends and gets so please remain until samsara ends. In all my lives, never separated from perfect gurus, and I enjoy the magnificent Dharma by completing the qualities of the grounds and paths, may quickly attain a state of Pachadara. I fully dedicate all these virtues to be able to train just like the Hero Manjushri who knows reality, and just like Samantha as well. I fully dedicate all my roots of virtue with the dedication praises the best, by all the gone beyond victorious ones of the 3 times in order to have good conduct. With my heart going out with great compassion in whatever direction the most precious teachings have not yet spread or one spread have declined, may I reveal this treasure of happiness and aid.
Well, so to share. I'll see you next Wednesday then. Okay, take care. Stay warm.
Thank you, Rinpoche.
Thank
You
you.
too.
You.